Hey, good morning. This is Pete, and I'm here to talk about the Junsun 9-inch upgrade stereo head for my 2016 Ram 1500. So I purchased this on Amazon. The retail price was approximately $150 or so. It took me a couple hours to get it installed. It really wasn't too bad. I just like to go over some of the features. I think it's great with one drawback, which I will talk about, and hopefully we'll get that cleared up soon. So this is the installed Junsun head unit. It's installed in my 2016 Ram 1500. I have the automatic air conditioning and climate control, so I had to wait to make sure I had the right one. Some of the other models are not for this, that has the automatic air conditioning with the push-up, push-down auto climate control. So this one is designed for this truck, and the install, again, it wasn't too bad. I'm not going to talk about how to install it, but I'll give you some hints. Up on the top, under this Ram mat, you can pop this little tray out, and there's two, I believe they're 7mm bolts that you'll need to take out. No, I'm sorry, these are number 20 Torx bits, T20. So there's two there. You take those out, and once those are out, you can essentially pop this entire bezel out. This whole top bezel will pop out. You can use plastic bezel tools like this. You could use a screwdriver. I prefer the plastic bezel tools because they don't make gouges in your bezel. So to get this bezel out, unfortunately, you have to remove this lower unit bezel piece, and that's not too bad. You take out this coin tray in the front, and there's a couple of screws underneath there. I think those might have been 7mm bolts, but they're either 7mm or they're Phillips. So you'll remove those, and then once those are out, this whole bezel piece here will lift out. You'll have to pop that up and out before you remove this main bezel, because it'll get jammed up down here at the bottom. Once that bezel is out, this is again pulled out, you can take that piece, and there's a lot of disconnections down here, the HVAC controls. Take a picture of the back of the unit so you'll make sure your plugs go back where they can go, and then you'll disconnect the existing OEM stereo harness and whatever plugs from back there and take it out. I then brought it inside, and I had to remove the main bezel. This piece, this entire bezel piece, comes with the new stereo. So I had to disassemble. There's 13 screws on the back side of the old one, and it allowed me to take it out. There was a great video I found. You do have to pop the knobs here and here off of the old one to get them to go back on the new one. It's pretty simple from the back side. Once you figure it out, you'll see where these knobs go in. There's a small space that you can use a screwdriver or a tool like this, a little bezel tool, a little plastic tool. Put a little pressure behind the back of those knobs, and you'll be able to pop those off. Once you get the new one on, you pop the knobs back in, and then you pop the center pieces back in, and it all goes together. So once that's done, I brought the bezel, the 13 screws go back in, and the unit will be installed in that large bezel, and then you reconnect your connections. Junsun does give you all the wires you need. One thing I can tell you, there are two USB cables. This is one of them. I fed it out of this little cubby hole. I drilled a hole in the back of the cubby hole when I had this bezel inside to reinstall the stereo. I drilled a hole, about a 1/2-inch hole in the back, and I was able to run my USB cable through that hole so that it sits out here. This is so I can connect wired. Now I can connect wirelessly, which I am right now, to the stereo. However, you'll find that when you're scrolling around, wired is going to be a little faster because there's not the lag of wireless. Your phone's not connecting via Bluetooth. It's connecting directly. So I do have that cable run out of here. This is the 6-pin connector on the other end. There is another cable that looks the same, and it's a 4-pin connector, but the 6-pin connector is the one that's going to give you the Android Auto or the CarPlay functionality. So be sure to use the 6-pin for the one you want to run out the front. There is a 4-pin. I didn't really bother with that. It's behind the radio. If I ever want to take it out, I can do that so someone else has a charging plug. But underneath my console, I did retain the USB functionality there, and there's a 12-volt cigarette lighter outlet if I need one. I do have a multi-outlet that I use in my cigarette lighter plug here in the front that gives me a whole bunch of different connections. It gives me USB-C, USB-A. I have my my front forward-facing video camera connected to that, so I'm not too worried about alternate USB connections. I have plenty. But that one there will give you that USB functionality for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Be sure to use the 6-pin cable if you're going to run that out. Also, running out of that same hole, I have a cable that's my microphone. It goes all the way across, it goes up around, and up on my visor right there is the microphone that comes with the unit. There is a small microphone that's built into the head unit, but from everything I read, it doesn't pick up very well, so I was sure to run this upgraded microphone that came with it, and I've tested the phone and everyone says it sounds great. Now, as far as the radio goes, it's awesome. Right now, unfortunately, because I'm using video, it's not allowing me to play the radio. And I think that's because I'm connected and I'm using video. But it does give me a lot of functions. So I have... Oh, no, it will let me play it. So this is being played through Sirius XM. I have the Sirius XM app, and it comes up on Android Auto. The sound is really good. So it gives me my Sirius XM app. I also have the iHeartRadio app if I want to play local sports. Big Yukon Huskies fan. Their games are televised and on the radio, on Fox Sports 97.9. So I have that here, and I'm able to listen to the Yukon games if I'm not able to watch them on TV. I also have Waze installed. So you'll see here I've got my Waze app that comes up. So when I'm in the home screen, I've got some other options here. You'll see I have my settings, my Play Store, Chrome. So Z-Link 5 is what connects through Android Auto, and that's going to give me my my apps that show up here. So I've got Waze, I've got my Sirius XM, and again, once I'm playing something and I shut the car off and turn it back on, it's going to come back on to the same music that was playing before, which is really nice. It's automatic. I could change that in the settings, but I like it. If I'm listening to Sirius XM, I listen to Howard Stern a lot. It's going to come up back on Howard 100 or 101, whatever station I had on last. So that works great. I'm really happy overall. It's a learning curve, but I really like the way that the stereo is set up. It works very well. It's pretty much plug and play. There wasn't too many connections I had to make, except for the microphone connection from the microphone that I have on the visor. I also am able to use my backup camera. So if I put my truck in reverse, my backup camera comes on. It's not as good a picture as I had before. There are some lines in there, a little bit of interference, but overall, I'm happy with it. I can turn off. I need to go back into the features since I reset the stereo and turn off the lines that were there. I still have the stock lines, and you'll see that when I turn my wheel, the stock lines turn. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to turn off the lines that they give, and I'm also going to turn off this 360 overlay here. Since I don't really have any reason to use that. If I put the truck back in park, it goes back to my screen, my music comes back on. So things like that work great. So the only problem I am having with my stereo, and Junsun is working on this, they contacted me and told me they have some techs that are trying to work out a bug. When I change my air conditioning settings, I get this little window that pops up on the bottom, right? As soon as I touch that, it shows me I'm turning the fan up, so it shows me that. You see how it says low on both sides? It's not giving me the temperature setting. So if I turn on my air conditioning, which I just did, now it says AC on, and I can put on max AC, but it's not going to show me the settings. Even if I push up or down on the buttons, they actually work, and they will change the temperature. You just can't see exactly what the temperature is. So if I go back into the home screen, I can go to my car info, and it's got something that's called air set. So it brings up a climate control screen that's pretty similar to what used to be in the truck. I can turn on my heated steering wheel from here, and it's on, and the light comes on down below, so that works. I can turn on my heated seats if I want to do that from here. I can turn on the driver heated seat, and then down below you see those lights are on. I can turn it down one, and again it corresponds, or turn it off. The passenger heated seat, the same thing. I can turn it on low or medium or off. The only downside is when I use these up or down arrows, I'm not getting anything showing me except for where it says low. Now, here's the weird thing. If I hit I'm going to put my climate control on auto, and then I go back into car info and air set. So it shows that I'm on auto right now. So I should be able to put a temperature in and change that. But if I use this up button, I can turn that. If I hit it, now I can feel that the temperature is getting warmer. So even though it's not giving me, when I hit it enough times, it goes to high. See how it says high? So that means it's higher than the range set. So what I have to do is figure out where in the middle, how many clicks it takes to go from the lowest setting to the highest setting. And I don't know. Now I'm back to saying low, and it's going to get cold again. So that's the only downside. They need to figure out how to get that temperature sensor. There's temperature sensors that are located on the driver and passenger sides, somewhere near the floor. Those temperature sensors come up into the harness. So hopefully they come up with a fix, maybe a firmware update that will allow me to see the temperature setting when I'm in air set. So I guess I'll have to wait to see where that gets to. And at this point, I can still control and get air conditioning. If I go back into car info and air set, I can go to AC max. And I know that AC max is going to be the lowest temperature setting no matter what. So I am getting nice cold air. So it's not as if I'm not able to control what I want to control. If I hit front down here, I still get my defroster. This is my rear defroster. Turn on the mirrors. So all of that will work, and it'll work properly. It's just I would love to see the temperature settings on the screen. So overall, my take on this is it's a really nice stereo. It does give me a nice equalizer, by the way. I have DSP and ASP, and I can equalize those settings. I can choose from rock, movie, classic, electronic, pop, whatever. And I'm pretty happy with the rock setting and the DSP wave. I like to bring up just a little bit on the high side. You can play with that. It works really well. The balance works really well. I can equalize, change this around, and it works properly. So the stereo itself, I'm very happy with. For the money, it's totally worth it. To have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, I live by my phone when I drive. I use Waze, but now at least I've got the ability to use Android Auto. I have it in the car. It's automatically connected. I'm going to get my Waze coming over my speakers. It's going to mute the background music when Waze talks. Those are the things that I really wanted. So for the money, excellent. Again, just that one bug that they have to work out. Hopefully they will with the temperature setting. If you can get around without that, I highly recommend it. If your vehicle has the regular standard air conditioning, not the automatic temperature air conditioning, they do have a model for that, and I've seen plenty of videos and think that sounds like a good plan too. So overall, I recommend it. I'm going to give it 4 stars out of 5, and sorry about the long video, but hopefully this helps. And again, the installation was not too bad. Take your time. I did not rush this job. Have a great day.